Who Dat?
Who that?
Are you sure?
Uh, I don't know.
Okay. So, not going to be an episode like what we have been kind of doing more often lately, just because there's actual stuff to talk about this time. Um, there's some Bengals stuff, but you know that's obviously not what we're really here to talk about right now. So we'll talk about the Bengals stuff like kind of at the end. But holy shit, Saints! Mikey, I'm just. I'll go ahead and lead with the most important aspect of the story, which is the Derek Carr drama. So, could you, for people who may not be aware of what's going on, could you walk us through what happened?
A full story. We have to go back to in January. So if y'all missed it, last announced that he. I know he hasn't started yet, and no, I'm not faking it like their card is. In January, their card said that he will purchase contract. Restructuring his contracts, which were like, okay, I wasn't happy because that he was unhappy that he restructured his own contract. So then he had an allegedly a shoulder 15 games in 2023, and last year he was off and on playing these games and not playing these games. And now he might miss the season. I hope him to be recovered. But I see right through this slimy son of a fox. I can see right. He dropped the news because he leaked it, and I've heard from insiders they don't know where the shoulder injury came from. The same body knows where the shoulder injury came from. So that led me digging some like why other than Derek Carr was talking about. I was looking right through. I saw right through him. This is what actually happened. Okay, so Derek Carr earlier in the offseason said he wanted to get idiot GM he is was like, we're not going to trade you. So we're going to restructure his contract. A restructure that Derek Carr signed. He on the restructure. But Derek Carr did, knowing what that would do, because that would benefit him. And then I was looking at it, and Derek Carr has always type of guy. He's always been arrogant. He's always been a guy that's like it's either his way out of him, and they got mad at a lot of giving up on his route, even though he literally sends a lot of to the hospital whenever he does catch or more. This eyeliner Kirk Cousins.
Eyeliner Kirk Cousins.
Derek Carr's
I like it.
Yeah, that's what he is. He's trying to cover up, like he's faking an injury to try to force a trade. He has to realize nobody's gonna trade for him because he can't pass a physical. There's no way. And if you do pass a physical, well, that proves everything right there. The proof is in the pudding, fan. Man, get out of here. And there's a saying that if you love the city of New Orleans, the city will love you back. For example, Jameis Winston, was he the best quarterback here? No, I've never. He was not. He was nowhere to be found during Super Bowl week. Nowhere to found when Kellen Moore got hot. Nowhere to find when Reed got signed. He like. I'm not gonna say he hates the city, but he damn sure didn't love it. So yeah.
It's just there's a lot more drama than I expected out of Derek Carr, like of all people, like who? Who is this guy? Like some random ass quarterback in the NFL who like I mean he's a starting quarterback, but like back in like 2016 or some shit, he had a MVP caliber season with the Raiders. Um, but that was nearly a decade ago. And like when the Saints signed Derek Carr, I personally thought it was kind of a good move because I'm like, hey, that's a guy who could potentially resurrect his career in the right situation. And in Derek Carr's defense, I do think the Saints have been the wrong situation for him. But this is like if what you're saying is true, then this completely removes any empathy on my end.
Like, it's like, I don't, it's, look, I want to feel, like, I don't even want to feel bad, but like, look, your injuries, I don't know anybody that roots for injuries. I'm just like, okay, I hope he gets better if this is true. But knowing Derek Carr, knowing that they were going a Rolls Royce, he was nowhere to be found at the wherever we were doing the tryouts at. He was man, look, I know your name is Carr, so you might love cars and shit, but you should love this team more than you love cars.
Hey, you're coming through really weirdly. Like you've
Yeah,
got
I don't know what's going
like
on.
there's I don't know if you're having internet problems or something, but like I started noticing that you're like really behind. Like your words and your like video are really behind. So I was curious. I was like, I wonder if it's doing that on the
Yeah.
show too. And it like you sound like a deranged robot, like a serial killer robot. I don't know if like you're that mad at Derek Carr, but damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear.
Your audio's syncing up better right now, at least on my screen. But
Um,
nope.
is it better now?
Why don't you try and like why don't you try like logging off, coming back. I'll talk to people while you're gone. Just try like restarting your computer or whatever you're using. I can't even hear you anymore at all. Okay, well there he goes. All right. Well, so it's just me for now then. Yeah, dude, this Derek Carr situation is really kind of wild to me. Um, yeah, I think Jeff heard it. Yeah, he sounded like what's his name? Megatron. He sounded like Megatron the whole time. Like just I don't know what's going on with his audio, but hopefully restarting his computer fixes it. But Derek Carr and the Saints are not getting along right now. And just out of nowhere, yesterday we tried to go live yesterday to try to capitalize on the new news, but unfortunately I was having too much fun with trying to mock up a pit like a jersey swap of Jalen Milrow into a Saints jersey, and I got way too into that and uh, ended up being too late, so we had to go live today. But yeah, so the that means if true, then that means Derek Carr is pretty much done in New Orleans. Like, I mean, it's not like he's not done. Like, they're like, oh, we're not going to trade you, so like, he's still under contract. But it pretty much means that the Saints are looking for a new quarterback because like you can't come back from this. Like Derek Carr can't be the next like quarterback of the New Orleans Saints after this. Like I mean, if he does take the job, like nobody's gonna take it seriously. It'd be like he'd basically be tanking at that point, right? Because nobody's gonna want to play with Derek Carr if he doesn't want to be there. Um, so that's really kind of a crazy situation. But it does mean that the New Orleans Saints are suddenly in the conversation for a quarterback with the 17th overall pick. And they were already kind of in the conversation, but now it's like it feels like now's the time for the Saints, right? Especially if they're willing to like trade up or something like that. They could potentially get somebody they're looking for at 17. There's been talk about Shadur Sanders, but there's also been talk about Shadur Sanders might end up going higher than they were. Like some people were saying he was going to slide, and now people are saying, oh, teams are going to go get him earlier. So you just don't know. But the most recent thing that I've heard, maybe I should wait until Mikey gets back to talk about it. But I like who the fuck cares if you guys know ahead of time. So I'll just let y'all know now. I've heard some speculation that the Saints might consider taking Jalen Milroe with the 17th pick, which would be, by the way, a massive reach, and B, obviously it would piss Mikey right the hell off because he can't stand Jalen Milroe. I don't hate Jalen Milroe as much as Mikey does. Like I think he could potentially be good in the NFL. I don't know if the Saints are the team to do it with though. Like he's gonna need to go to a more stable situation and kind of like hone in on his good skills and walk back some of his bad skills. Out of who needs a quarterback right now? Browns need a quarterback. The Browns would be not a terrible place to go, right? Because like if they're still kind of trying to make Deshaun Watson work there. So if you have Jalen Milroe come in and he can kind of sit behind Deshaun Watson and be like the natural successor there, that wouldn't be a bad decision, I mean, if he does in fact slip into the second round, then you got some other guys who could potentially make sense there, like the Colts. I wouldn't go drafting Jalen Milroe. Well, I wouldn't draft him in the first round anyway. But like, let's say the Colts are there, and he's just hanging out at the Colts pick. Maybe not the worst idea in the world to take him there. Raiders could be a place. Actually, the Raiders make. Because Geno Smith's there, the Raiders could actually make a lot of sense for Jalen Milroe, right? Hey, Mikey, you here? You do sound better. Okay, let me. You're not live though, so everybody's hearing me talk to a ghost right now. Mikey's in the room, but he's not live. So let me get. Can't have you talk to him because I'll try to do this real quick. But yeah, Mikey, I was basically talking to them about what the Saints are going to do at quarterback. Okay, I don't know how much you heard. Yeah, so that's something I want to get your reaction on here in a second. I'm sure you got a lot to say about that. Yeah, hold on. I almost got you. Any second now.
Close.
There you go. Okay. Now,
Right,
start talking. Well, I don't know because I couldn't hear it on my end, but when I put it live, so just start talking.
All right. Well, the Saints need quarterback that's
sound
not
better now,
Jalen Milroe because Milroe sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, I do.
So okay, you sound good now. Okay, so to tee you up here, I have heard some speculation. Now, obviously, this is this could be smoke. This could be a lot of things. But I have heard some speculation that the Saints are potentially considering taking Milroe at 17.
No.
No.
And first of all, we don't have the 17th pick. We have the 9th pick. But no.
Oh, I don't think they'd take him at 9. Maybe that was somebody speculating that Saints would trade down or something. Because they definitely said 17.
The Bengals have the 17th pick.
Oh, maybe they did say 9. That'd be crazy. Because we're not trading up to 9.
The Bengals have the 17th because I remember when we did that mock draft, I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I got 9, you got 17.
Let me see if I can find it. But they was definitely projecting that the Saints might potentially take him. So talk about that.
Bro, nah. Like, look, Shedeur Sanders is like the only QB I'll be okay with in the first round. I'm sorry. Like, if Jackson Dart's available in the second round, cool. If Milroe's available in the second round, if you pick him, I'm gonna throw something into a wall. Like, I despise Milroe, and before y'all like, oh, you just a biased LSU fan and don't like Bama. You're right. I don't like Bama. But when the Saints drafted Kool-Aid McKinstry, I wasn't complaining.
Jalen
Like,
Milroe
I'm
did have a
sorry,
private
but
workout with the Saints, though.
I don't give a damn. You know how much people do private workouts with the Saints that the Saints end up passing on?
Well, I suppose, but he only 2 teams had a private workout with him. The other one was the Browns. Which
Okay,
I was saying
and
before you got back, I was saying the Browns would be a pretty decent situation for Jalen Milroe. Because like the way I see it, Milroe, if he cooks a little bit, could end up being maybe okay in the NFL. He's not ready right away. But if you go to a situation where you got a guy who's like already the starter, and then maybe Milroe could be the natural successor, which is kind of what's going on in Cleveland, whether it should be or not. They seem relatively committed to Watson right now. So
yeah, yeah. Well, I just don't. I don't trust the Saints one bit. I'm sorry. After hearing the Derek Carr news, like it's weird. Like if this was like Drew Brees, like back when we had Drew Brees, if this was like Drew Brees, I would have obviously I've been freaking out because it's Drew Brees. But it's Derek Carr, so when I looked at the news, I just glossed over it. But then it didn't take like Saturday or Sunday for me to actually realize, shoot, he's faking this injury. And look between the lines, look inside the lines, like look at the intercourse. Like this man has been doing this his whole career, y'all. Like that's why he got out with the Raiders, and that's why the Raiders moved off of him. Because having Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell was better than having this bum. But yeah.
okay,
Anyways.
so Teddy says Derek needs to beat the 49ers and go to the Hall of Lame. I guess I don't know.
At this point, I don't even think Derek can beat the Titans at this point.
Okay.
Oh
He also
no.
said he's as untrustworthy as Giovanni Bernard, which I don't. If you got beef with Giovanni Bernard, then you got beef with me, Teddy. So I'm not sure what you're saying there, but we gonna fight. Your least favorite team needs a quarterback. Yes, they do. They do. The Jalen Milroe. I don't know if that'd be the best place for Jalen Milroe because they need a quarterback now. They don't need somebody like they can't really afford to let somebody cook because otherwise they're starting Mason Rudolph. Like that's not a good idea.
That's fine.
But the Milroe is a bad idea to go to the Steelers. Now I would think it'd be funny. I think it'd be hilarious, but that wouldn't be a good idea for them. Throw out their Bernard jersey.
Yeah.
You go fuck yourself, Teddy.
Damn.
Andy Dalton still good to go.
Andy Dalton still. I think he's trying to say is Andy Dalton still good, or is that good to go? Is that what the suit's for?
I'm not sure, but he's trash talking Giovanni Bernard, and he's coming in here and it seems to be saying good things about Dalton. Which first of all, I like Dalton. You're not gonna make me mad by saying positive things about Andy Dalton, but between the two, Giovanni Bernard all day. Screw you, Giovanni Bernard's the guy. And if you feel otherwise, then you can go draft Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, trust me.
But no, actually, no, you don't because I think. Are you? I mean, he's got a Rams logo there, but he's talking about the Bengals like he's familiar. So I'm not sure. Are you a Bengals fan or a Rams fan? Because if you're a Bengals fan, please don't draft Jalen Milroe. That would be a terrible idea. It'd be a horrendous idea. That'd be one of the worst things the Bengals have ever done. And it's not because I don't like Jalen Milroe. I'm a little higher on Milroe than you are, Mikey, but for the Bengals to take him would be insane.
Bro, I would take Quinn Ewers in the second round over Milroe.
The secret of Saint Bernard, the saint that denied the Immaculate Conception. Why would so okay, maybe I don't know my like Catholic history, but like why would somebody get sainted over that? Wouldn't that be like blasphemy? I don't know. My
Yeah, sure.
saint is a Saint Bede. Okay. Red's owner's dog was a Saint Bernard. Ah,
Oh yeah, this is Teddy for you. Yeah, he always goes religious on you.
I have no idea what he's talking about. So okay, this is just a stream of consciousness freaking comments here. But it's fine. It's fine. It makes things interesting. It spices it up. We're just talking about Saint Bernard and Saint Bernards and Giovanni Bernard and Andy Dalton. So
Two
he's
guys I did not think I'll be talking about today.
I'd be interested. I'd be interested to see Teddy like writing poetry. I bet he
Yeah.
could come up with something interesting. Jeff, to answer your question, by the way, I'm assuming you were talking about me. I didn't get a lot of flooding here in Fairfield. Um, there was, I mean, like it was all over the place. I saw the results and the like the wind was crazy and everything like that, but I didn't get a whole lot of flooding, which is if there was flooding in Fairfield, I would have gotten it because we're in like a basin zone. So, but I didn't get any. But anyway, back on topic.
Yeah.
So so I don't getting back to your comment about Shadir Sanders. I think the Saints would probably take him. Um,
They should.
but there's also a possibility. There's a possibility that Shadir could drop if the Saints don't take him, there's a chance that Shadir could drop really far. But there's also a chance that like a team could like just surprise and trade up to take Shadir.
Yeah, look, you don't draft Shadur Sanders unless you absolutely love him. So now we just got to trust the Saints to absolutely love him.
Well, yeah, but like I mean, somebody's gonna love him. There's
And that
32
better be
teams in the NFL. One of them is gonna like be really high on him. And I'm not saying the
However, we'll
Saints
say that,
wouldn't be, but I'm saying there could be another team that would trade ahead of the Saints.
yeah, well, we'll say this, though. Deion Sanders, obviously, Shadur's pops and everything. Deion Sanders, when talking about, he was doing, like, some interview, and he was, like, talking about, like, which team Shadur should get drafted. He was like, you know what? Like, he started talking, and at the end, he was like, man, I do like these Colorado colors. I do like the Colorado colors. You know the only team that has a Colorado jersey color scheme?
What?
The Saints. They have the only
Oh
jerseys
yeah, I
in the
guess they
NFL
do.
that are identical.
Well, they're not identical, but
Well, yeah, but I mean, they're closer to the goddamn colors. They're closer than the Chiefs. They're closer than the Falcons. They're closer than the Bengals. They're closer than the Steelers. They're closer than the
nobody.
Cowboys and the Bills. They're closer than everybody.
I can't think of anybody in college who has jerseys like the Bengals. Like maybe Princeton. Does Princeton have similar jerseys to the Bengals? I mean, not really, because the Bengals have a really unique design, which is part of why I like the Bengals like kind of aesthetic so much. Um, I don't think Princeton does. Their logo kind of reminds you of the Bengals, but yeah, the Princeton's got like orange jerseys and orange pants, and that's kind of their main thing. And like their uniforms honestly look more like Browns uniforms, to be honest with you. Like when they wear the darker ones.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know, but nobody really looks like the Bengals, which is why I kind of like it. You know,
Yeah.
the Saints. Well, I'll tell you, it's easier to make a jersey swap for the Saints just because the Saints have a uniform that does look a lot like some other people.
Yeah, well, here's the point, right? Where, look, if y'all have known me since 2023, y'all know when the Saints signed Derek Carr, I was happy because I'm like, okay, we needed a quarterback. Derek Carr led the Raiders to the playoffs in 2021, which is at that point recent. I was like, okay, maybe we can work something. Then he started playing, and then I was trying to give him some leeway. He kept getting hurt, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna give him some leeway. Then he started heating up at the end of the season, and I was like, okay, maybe this progress can get us somewhere. Year after that, it was the same bullcrap. Year after that, in 2024, it was actually worse. Because then this man started missing games. This man started purposely missing games. This man started saying how he hated the city, and well, he didn't exactly say that, but I can read right through God. Because look, you cannot be from New Orleans and not know what their car is doing. Trust me, like, bro, I've seen Eli Apple. I've seen countless players that took dumps on the city. Some without actually saying it, and their car has shown its true colors. Has he said, "I absolutely hated New Orleans"? No, he did not go the Eli Apple route. But that does not mean that he gets a pass. I can see right through him. So drafting QB, would like drafting any quarterback other than Jalen Milroe for the Saints, and I'll be fine with. I don't care if it's in the first, second, third, seventh, 100th round. Draft the damn quarterback, please. For the love of God, Saints, please don't do the stupid thing. Please don't draft Peyton Turner at number 9 overall this time instead of number 20 something overall.
Now instead they're gonna draft Jalen Milroe.
No. If they draft him, bro, I don't care if you and I are playing quarterback for the Saints. Nobody's as bad as Milroe.
So I talked about to transition. I talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the episode, but obviously we wanted to focus on Derek Carr and the Saints because that's really kind of what the episode was mainly about. But this Trey Hendrickson thing is just—it's annoying and it won't go away because people just keep bringing it up. I just saw there was like this thing from like some NFL executive said that the Bengals will trade Trey Hendrickson by the draft, but I don't see any reason to think that they would. Like this is, I mean, like this is what the Bengals do. The Bengals have like stars, and they're willing to sit on them forever and never trade them away. Regardless. Like I mean, they did it with Carson Palmer, but eventually the Raiders gave us potentially 2 first-round picks. Ended up being a first and a second, but we used the second on Giovanni fucking Bernard. But like this is what the Bengals do. Like they're perfectly happy to let guys walk if they need to, partially because they know they're going to get good compensatory picks out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm still really just not convinced that the Bengals are really seriously considering trading Trey Hendrickson unless there's a big blockbuster deal offered. The most recent news that I've heard surrounding that is that the Bengals have allegedly turned down multiple offers for Trey Hendrickson because they're looking for they're looking for at least a first round pick. Which,
Kyle, can I ask you something?
Duh. Like, are you out of your mind? Like, why the fuck would you trade Trey Hendrickson away for, like, let's say, a third and a fourth round pick? Like, what the hell is a third and fourth round pick gonna do for this? A Trey fucking Hendrickson is not gonna do. Like, even if he's just here for a year, that man will bust his ass. You know why I know he'll bust his ass? Because if he doesn't, he won't get as much money as the next contract because he's getting older, right? So Trey Hendrickson, you keep him around, and at least for 1 year, he's gonna bust his ass for you one more time. And it's like, yeah, if you can get a haul for him, then maybe that makes the situation a little more like you can deal with it a little bit better. You still got to replace Trey Hendrickson, which is just not an easy task. Like they haven't proven they can do that yet. But like if they really get a good deal, then okay, maybe. But for a couple mid-round picks, like why the hell would we trade Trey Hendrickson for a couple mid-round picks? It makes no damn sense. Like zero.
Yeah.
What the hell? Like, there's a good chance that like what have we done with third and fourth round picks lately? We've pretty much wasted them. So like, why the hell would we trade Trey Hendrickson for picks which we historically have not been doing very well with lately? And people are out of their minds.
Yeah. Yeah, but Kyle, I have a question.
Hmm.
Or, well, it's kind of a favor. No matter if Atlanta offers 4 first-round picks, do not send him there.
um,
Don't. I don't care. You can send him anywhere. But I don't care if Atlanta offers you a decade worth of first-round picks. Don't do it. Because then that's going to be another former Saints player they have to root against. Bro, they're just the Atlanta Saints, just with weirder team experience.
I mean, like, I'm kind of generally of the opinion. First of all, the Falcons aren't going to do that. Second of all, I'm kind of generally of the opinion that I can't really think of too many things that it would be worth trading Trey Hendrickson for in the first place. Because like I said, even if you get like 2 first-round picks for Trey Hendrickson, like what have we done with first-round picks lately? We got Dax Hill one year. Like Dax Hill hasn't done shit. You know, we got Miles Murphy, who's good, but he ain't no Trey Hendrickson. So like people act like, oh, if you let him walk, you're not getting value, but like we're probably not getting the like proper value for him if we trade him away.
Yeah.
Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's better to deal with the devil that you don't know rather than the devil that you do know. But in this case, you gotta deal with the devil that you do know rather than you don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like we know if we let Trey Hendrickson walk, we will get a good compensatory pick next year because he's gonna like be a huge sign for whoever he ends up going to next year. And I mean, I also know the Bengals are going to be working hard on getting a contract extension for him. They got it done with T. Higgins, and we didn't think that was going to happen. Now, granted, that was because Jamar Chase basically demanded it, but still, like, you know, I mean, they can get Trey Hendrickson done. I guess they need more time, whatever. But like, I cannot for the life of me envision a scenario that you're trading Trey Hendrickson away and you're getting anything in return that is really worth it. Like maybe if the Bengals traded away, like, I don't know, who's the best cornerback in the NFL right
now? Best corner, probably Patrick Tan. He's up there.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say we trade Trey Hendrickson for Pat Surtain. I think that would be fine. You know, I'd be okay with that. It doesn't even have to be Pat Surtain. It could be like Darius Slay, you know, and then like a late round pick or something. But like, you know, this idea that we just need to trade Trey Hendrickson to whoever's willing to pay anything for him it's ridiculous. It's absolutely like mind-bogglingly ridiculous because like, you know what happens if we don't have Trey Hendrickson on our team this year? Like, people are like y'all saw what happened with the defense with Trey Hendrickson last year, right? And I get like, oh, well, if the defense was bad with him, then what's the point of paying him? But at the same time, if you don't pay him, imagine how much worse they'll be. Like if we didn't have Trey Hendrickson last year, we wouldn't have even been sniffing the playoffs.
Yeah. Man, y'all would probably scored 60 points, and y'all still lose by 2 touchdowns.
Exactly. Exactly. This defense is so bad at this point that if you get rid of Trey Hendrickson, you're basically just damning Al Golden to be, you know, like to get fired in a year or two because he couldn't fix the defense. But of course, he can't fix the defense when you get rid of the best player on the team. On the defense.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Jamar Chase. I think I heard that the only reason Jamar and T got paid at the same time is because Jamar said, if you're paying me, then you're paying T. But he didn't say nothing about Trey, so I don't know if Trey assaulted his girl or whatever, but damn. Because if I was Jamar, I would have looked at T. I would have looked at T, but I would also be like, hey, can you give Trey so it can be the same headache, but if you get rid of Trey, then I have more of a headache. So, yeah.
So...
Watching the defense give up 75 points again.
So yeah, just ties all of this in. And I'll answer your question here in a second, Jeff. But it just ties all of this in. Like, what the fuck are our teams doing right now, Mikey? Like it's not just the Saints. You know, the Bengals are not really making a whole lot of sense. And like, I'm glad we signed Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You know, I know we took some heat for that, but I don't think that it's a bad thing at all. Here's the thing, though. We can sign Trey Hendrickson. I don't know why the hell we're not.
I mean, it's about getting that asking price.
I guess. Jeff asked, "Is Sanders that good of a quarterback? Saw him play, and that O line at Colorado was bad. He needs to go to a team with a good O line." That's true, but like he still made some things happen. I mean, like it wasn't like the greatest like college performance of all time, but like I mean, you could see the potential in Shadur at Colorado, despite having a horrendous offensive line. I think having
Yeah.
the really bad offensive line, if anything, showcased the what he's capable of. Working in stressful situations. Which, by the way, he's going to be in stressful situations if he goes to a team with a high draft pick.
Yeah. We want to talk about Sanders ain't good. You're right. Sanders had the offensive line he had. But let's look at what he did with that same offensive line. He broke records at Colorado for I think completions. It might have been completion percentages, one or the other. He I think led Colorado all time in passing yards as well, or it was touchdowns. It was one or the other. Look, I don't have stats right in front of me, but off the top of my head, he broke records for Colorado behind that same O line. And the Saints O line, it ain't the worst O line I've seen. All right, I've seen some pretty bad O lines, especially with the Saints. So if we draft Sanders, I think it could work. Maybe not in year one, but if Kellen Moore can find some trust, because it's all about that chemistry. If he can trust Shador, if Shador builds chemistry with Chris, if we don't trade him, and if Kamara, he's probably on his last leg at this point. So the Saints have a solid team. Like we don't have like the worst team ever. The reason that I've been so down on us is because we have a poopy quarterback. And once we get a good quarterback like Shadur, I think we could be fine. I won't be shocked if with Shadur we win like 8-9 games this year, and that will be an improvement. But we also gotta look that there's also a possibility that we only win 3 games or something, because you know, guys boom, guys bust every single year. Every draft, there's guys that boom, and that like for example, Jaden Daniels, nobody had him playing in the NFC Championship this year. But then you got guys that bust, and it's well, I mean, who's a guy that really busts? Like Caleb Williams, I'm not gonna say busted, but he did not have the season Jaden Daniels had.
Well, no, but he
So
was
yeah,
also
I'm
on the
just saying.
Bears.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like Shadur Sanders can be on like a bad team, but I still think he can. He has the tools, like over time, maybe not overnight, but like over time, to turn like a team like the probably not the Titans, but maybe a team like the Giants. I think if he went to a team like the Giants, I feel like the Giants could be a playoff contender in like 3 years because they have talent on that team. They have Dexter Lawrence, they have Tyrone Tracy, they have Malik Neighbors, they have Bellinger. I think like they have some solid pieces. So if he went to a team like the Giants, I feel like that team could be solid in a couple of years. But if he goes to like a team like Titans, maybe not because they don't have the talent that I feel like the Giants have. Obviously, they don't have that much talent if they're winning 3 freaking games. But to be fair, the Saints also won 5 games, and I feel like they also need talent. But yeah, I think signing guys will help. But it's all right. But yeah, that's my thing on Shadur. I think Shadur has the capability to be a good quarterback in this professional football league, and we're gonna see next week wherever he gets drafted. Whether that's I doubt it, but whether that's number 1 overall or if he falls completely out the first round. Because at that point, those two like Shadur, I've seen I've seen Steeler rumors, I've seen Saints rumors, I've seen Giants rumors. I even saw Titan rumors at one point. But then the combine happened, and that what put Cam Ward over the top. I still think Shadur might be the best QB in the class. I feel like he's definitely more pro ready than Cam Ward. I'm not trying to hate on nobody, but I hope Cam Ward has a good career too. But that's just my take on the situation with Shitter and yeah.
So, to be honest with you, just because you brought it up, first of all, you can't call anybody a bust after 1 year, unless it's insane. Like, very rarely, if ever, do you have a guy who you can definitively say is a bust after 1 year.
Yeah, I know. But
There
I was
was
like,
there
we got a
wasn't
guy that did not have a good rookie.
you didn't really have a bad quarterback in this draft. Like you said, you could sort of say Caleb Williams didn't like live up to expectations, but I'd say like the overall product that you got out of Caleb Williams, considering the Bears, is like fair enough. Um, Probably the biggest bust um, from this draft class, and I use bust in big air quotes, is like JJ McCarthy, and it's not really his fault. He got hurt.
Yeah, that's why I try to avoid saying his name because like,
Maybe you
but
could say
I
maybe you could say Michael Penix, but I guess it just depends on what like was Atlanta ever planning on giving him even a shot to play?
I mean, the only reason he played last year is because Kirk was making poopies.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if like it was ever really the plan for the Falcons to have Penix play. So
Yeah.
can you really judge him off of what his rookie year was?
I'm gonna say this right now though. When Atlanta drafts Jackson Dart with the 15th pick, that'll be hilarious.
That'd be crazy. Would it
Imagine
make
2
you
years in a row they draft a quarterback.
would it make you feel better um, after the Saints draft Jalen Milroe at 9?
No, no. You see, we don't talk about my team right now. We talk about Atlanta. We can talk bad about my team whenever we lose 75-0 to like the Panthers or something.
Okay, I keep that in mind. Okay. And you got anything else? Because I think we pretty much wrapped up everything we intended on talking about.
Well, I mean, Cameron Jordan, is giving Saints fans hope. So I don't know how much hope I still have there.
Like, what do you mean they're giving him hope?
Like Cam Jordan keeps saying that the Saints have a chance, saying that the Saints can easily win this division because Tampa Bay they won 8 games, 9 games, 10 games. But other than that, it's like I don't know if I've said that on here. I might have, but yeah, Cam Jordan, like he's just giving us hope, and like he says that every single year. So
Yeah, well, I mean,
yeah,
he's a true Saint at heart.
Yeah, I know. The Saints are always going undefeated in my heart. And like I said, I used to one more thing about Derek Carr's situation before anybody, and I'm just gonna say this so y'all can't accuse me of being a total pessimist today. If Derek Carr does play, don't get me wrong, the team is better with Carr than it is with a guy like Rattler or a guy like Heyman. Don't get me wrong, the team is better with Carr. But I'm sorry, 5 wins ain't moving the needle. So like, and also Derek Carr, back to me being no longer pessimistic, or back to me being pessimistic. Derek Carr is literally being selfish, and I can't stand it. I understand half the quarterbacks in this league are selfish at this point, but well, it's not really selfish. But what Derek Carr is doing is like this man only cares about himself. That's why he restructured the deal in the first place. But now that he knows that he has to be on the team next year, now all of a sudden, oh, I got boo boo on my shoulder. Now all of a sudden, I can't play this year. Nah, bro. Nah, I know it's not concrete evidence that he's faking an injury, but he's faking that injury. And I'm not the only one saying it. So you can go look at anybody else. They would say the same thing I am.
It's a hell of an accusation, though.
I don't care. I see right through people. Look, if you are from New Orleans, I can see right through you. I know when something's wrong. I know when you're happy. I know when you're sad. I know when you hate life. I know when you have depression. I know. Trust me, I see it through people every single day. But Derek Carr, this man making car videos. Oh, his shoulder wasn't hurting him when he was driving that Rolls Royce, though. It wasn't hurting him then. Brain dead, dude.
All right. Well, we'll be with y'all next week. Let's see. Is draft next week? Baby. Yeah. Well, me and Mikey are going live for day 2 of the draft. The plan is for me and Thomas to go live day 1 of the draft, but I'll be here definitely. Whether hey Mikey, I'm not trying to sit here and say like Thomas isn't gonna make it. I just know that there have been issues sometimes in the past with Thomas not always being available. So if he doesn't come, would you be available to hop on?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll keep y'all updated on that. So we'll definitely at least have two people. I'm assuming it'll be Thomas, but you know, there's a reason why we haven't done a Battle of Ohio podcast in a while. So, but I'll leave it at that because I don't want this to be shit on Thomas hour or anything.
Yeah. But like, it's weird because earlier in the week I was freaking out because I was like, "Oh shoot!" The second, like for some reason I thought this week was the draft, and I realized I had something to do on Friday, and usually that would be the second day of the draft. So I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to do a copy. I'm like, wait, the draft's next week. What am I talking about?
Yeah, I
So,
think
yeah.
I think I kind of thought it was this week too. So it wasn't just you. What day is day one of the draft?
It's next Thursday, so. But I was freaking out. I thought it was this week for some reason. Like, and it's weird because I told myself earlier that day that it was next week, but my brain just focused. I don't know if it's because I'm excited to do the show on day 2 of draft, so I just thought it was this week. But yeah.
Yeah, 24th, 25th, and 26th. For some reason, I thought it was the 21st. I don't know why. That wouldn't make it a whole lot of sense, but I thought it was the 21st. So I think I was kind of there with you.
Yeah, it was weird.
Well, anyway, that's pretty much all we got. So I'll leave y'all, as always, with a Who Dat.
The Who